This drug is called salbutamol. This drug is called salmeterol. Mega. Same drug, much stronger. So they know these drugs are very strong. So they insist that people be on preventer at the same time. But sometimes people don't take their drugs regularly. Sometimes people can't be trusted to take papers. Sometimes people don't understand. So the medical authorities, in league with the drug companies, have come up with this new type of medication called combination. Seretide from GlaxoSmith and Symbicort from AstraZeneca. And you could be on either one of those. And people, asthmatics have been put on this in their thousands and thousands in Australia. And I've written them in the two colours because Seretide contains very, very, very strong Ventolin reliever as well as Flixotide at the same time. Symbicort contains very, very strong Ventolin, Oxys and Pulmicort. So how can you take your preventer regularly and only take the reliever when you need it? You can't. People take these morning and night. And when they first go on this, people think, oh, this is great. You know, I don't need any Ventolin anymore. Little do they know that if they're taking 2 or 3 or 4 puffs of this, they're taking 10, 20, 30 or 40 puffs of Ventolin a day, the equivalent of that. And all the side effect and weakening their immune system at the same time. Now, people go on this, I haven't got too many asthma symptoms, but then people start to get more susceptible to colds and flu and pneumonia. People start to get these lung infections, fungal infections, aspergillosis, pseudomonas I see people with. They're on permanent antibiotics now for the rest of their life to try and get rid of that. Or asthmatics start to get a condition that an asthmatic never ever used to get. People who've got asthma never used to get this condition. It's called sleep apnea. Because now their asthma is so suppressed with all these strong drugs, their cause is still there and it's got worse, so their breathing's bad at night and they get sleep apnea. Asthmatics never used to get it because they used to wake up with asthma first when they breathe like this. If you're here to overcome your asthma, your sinus, hay fever, any of those conditions, I can help you by addressing the real cause. And the real cause is the way you've come to breathe. So what we do is to start to retrain the way you breathe. It takes 5 sessions over 5 days. It involves a number of breathing techniques, exercises to recondition your body's acceptance of more carbon dioxide so your body gets more oxygen. It's also some subtle lifestyle changes, and we teach you the correct way to take your drugs. You stay on your preventer medications and you only take your reliever medications as required. When you get a bit of an attack though, we teach you some breathing exercises to do, and if you don't need it, then you don't need to take it. And what people find is very quickly though, as they start to improve their breathing, their symptoms really reduce. It's common for people with asthma to reduce their symptoms by 90% in the first week. If you're on these drugs, we coach you how to go back to your doctor over the next couple of days or whatever and get a prescription, tell your doctor you're doing Buteyko, we'd like to be treated in the old-fashioned way, get a prescription just for the preventer medication and Ventolin or Bricanol, and very quickly we can start to improve this. You stay on your preventer until your breathing rate gets really, really, really good as we start to measure from the day Tuesday. And then when you've had no asthma for a month or more and your breathing measurements are really good, you can go back to your doctor and say, look, I haven't had any, how do I reduce my preventer further? And you halves it again and eventually you can come off everything. Like hundreds, thousands of people have done since the early 90s. Hay fever is just a similar form of this. As I said, it's triggered by a chemical that makes you over-breathe. You start to breathe more normal volume, use your nose more, filter out most of these allergens, end up with more carbon dioxide, more oxygen. You're still affected by these things, but they don't push you into the danger zone, and you just don't react. Now, so that's asthma. Let's talk a little bit about sleep, but before we do, there are 4 reasons why you should breathe through your nose, not just because I asked you to. The first reason is our nose is a fantastic filtration system. We have hairs and sinus passages designed to trap all the allergens and dirt and impurities that our lungs don't want. Our lungs like it sterile because anything that hits your lungs gets straight into your bloodstream. So if it's going to react with anything, it's going to get in. Our nose is a fantastic filtration system. The second reason why we should breathe through our nose is our nose warms and humidifies the air. Our airways don't like being dried out. if they get dried out by excessive laughing, excessive barracking, excessive talking incorrectly, then the airways will dry out, your body will lubricate with mucus. If you keep talking and drying them out further, then you hear people start croaking up, okay? People who are trained in Buteyko breathing very quickly learn that when they speak, they should be able to breathe out through their mouth, because that's what speaking is, and breathe in and rebreathe the air in through their nose. Now, the other thing that happens when you dry out your airways is people get this very easily reactive. They get this chronic cough. You hear people who cough uncontrollably. It's a really shocking cough regularly sometimes some people do it every 10 minutes for years. Chronic cough through the dry airways. The third thing, that when we get a cold, our body produces mucus, reacts with enzymes in the walls of our nose to kill bacteria. And the final thing our nose does is, see, even my big honk compared to my even bigger mouth, it regulates the volume that we should be breathing. Okay? When we bypass our nose and breathe through our mouth, we bypass this fantastic filtration system. Mouth breathing is largely responsible for just about all ear, nose, throat and chest infections that people get, and certainly responsible for all the orthodontic problems that kids have. Now, I have several dentists around ringing me because they've got these new therapies with young kids, 8 years old, to try and shape their teeth so they can avoid having bands, and it just won't work if they're a mouth breather. My son no longer has hay fever, but I spent a fortune fixing his teeth, absolute fortune. He had to have operations to line it all up again, everything from his years and years and years of mouth breathing. Dentist in Townsville rings me up and says, "Thank God you're finally coming to Townsville," because I used to go to Cairns and Mackay. I'm a mandibular dentist, whatever it is. And he said, you know, all these kids I see, and it's all their mouth breathing, and nobody knows how to change the way they breathe, except you people. So there are some reasons. Now, at the start of the seminar, I said I'm going to give you 3 strategies to help improve your sleep. Here they come. These are the things I want you to try tonight. You might like to try tonight. And they're all designed to reduce your breathing at night naturally, because guess what? I'm going to tell you that the breathing rate is the cause of your problems at sleep. And the first strategy to reduce your breathing at night involves posture. Now, people with asthma or sinus conditions or know anybody may be familiar with this, but when we lie down, the further we lie down, the flatter we are, the harder and heavier we breathe. The more upright we are, the gentler and less we breathe, just naturally, okay? Anybody who's ever had any asthma or an attack, you know, an asthmatic, if they've got a bad attack and they can't breathe, they don't go to bed. You don't go and lie down. It makes you worse. Often you get it at night. They have to prop themselves up, prop themselves up. So, the first strategy is, don't lie flat when you sleep tonight. Sleep standing up like this. I'm joking. Okay. Get a bit of elevation, okay? So don't lie flat. Get yourself a pillow. If you've already got a pillow, you might want to try 2. Or just have them overlap like that. Put a shoulder on the bottom one and a head on the top one. Don't give yourself a stiff neck. If you've got 2, you might want to taper 3, but try not to give yourself a stiff neck, because if you get pain, your heart rate increases and your breathing increases, okay, apart from the discomfort. Now, what we suggest to some people who are doing the course for a short period of time, you might want to elevate the bed on a few bricks or yellow pages at the bottom of the head of the bed, just to elevate, give it a bit of incline. Don't have to change your pillows that way, okay, and you get a bit of incline. Now, however, if you sleep with a partner, that involves negotiation, which could be stressful, of course, couldn't it? Okay? All right. So, for a short period of time. Second strategy to reduce your breathing tonight is to breathe in the correct position. Sleep in the correct position to reduce your breathing. And the correct position is on your left-hand side. The order of preference is your left side, your right side, your stomach, and a long, long last is on your back.